Hello, my wonderful beings. Thank you for joining me today. And I'm going to talk about the lunar eclipse that happened on the 8th of the 11th. So, 8, it's a powerful number, and it's the number of infinity, and 11 is the gateway. So, we have still influence on the two celestial beings, the sun and the moon and earth. But today I'm gonna talk about how it affects us, not energetically, but during the 8th of November. I think was the eclipse was around 10 a.m. UK time. But I'm gonna talk about how it affects us, what happened energetically, what kind of memories it has released during those short time. So when the moon actually was in alignment in a straight line with the sun and it had effect on the earth, there was a stream of energy was released on both sides. One went to earth its direction. So a light or a stream of energy is also a stream of information that was released to us on earth, but on the other side it went straight and reached another planet that's very similar to Earth in a straight line. What kind of information it is or it was, I have no idea because it was very short and very drastic. So we can experience some changes, some shift of consciousness within the next few months or days. I was told that the biggest, if you were a very sensitive person and probably experienced a lot of shift of energy around the first eclipse that was a few days ago on the 8th of the 11th, that was the lunar eclipse. But I was told that the biggest one, the shift of consciousness that will bring us to a high level, we're going to experience on the winter solstice, exactly on the 21st of December, this coming year. And short before that, it will be a huge change of we will go to like a little gateway of on the 22nd 11/22, which is also a very powerful number in numerology. So I'm telling in a few points what we have experienced during those short day or minutes. So what we the information that came is that remember, like Buddha taught us when incarnated on earth, he taught us about enlightenment, how to let go of fears, how to he talked about illusions, he talked about connecting with our soul to he was the seeker of truth and one of the first that arrived on earth. And he said about he taught his students about the notion of or the idea of enlightenment. But what I was told saw in this vision wasn't told I saw this in this vision was like when we don't receive enlightenment, it means other planets that are in our universe, they cannot fulfill their purpose of reaching the higher peak of consciousness or connection of oneness. Because as you know, everything is connected with the universe. Doesn't matter if you're on a physical level or non-physical level, everything it works with each other. So if we don't achieve level of consciousness, the planets and other beings cannot. So that's why it is very important to work and let go of the fears that we have received from our ancestors, from past lives, and so on. So if we don't let go of fear for some reason, maybe we don't know how to overcome fear, we cannot connect to the universal energy as well. So it's a different aspect. Now, I want to share some insights. Sorry about it, guys. I just have to read this because it's a lot of information, and I just have to put everything in the bullet points. So, during the moment of the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, what I saw was Earth was like surrounded in like a bubble, and that time it had a different time over there. It was like a soap bubble, and it's a different time, and it was a different consciousness. So everything was it was really strange. It was not based on fear, but it was like I was looking at this, I was like, that's really strange. What to do with that? And I got also a picture, as a glimpse of a picture that billions years ago. Now I cannot tell you where exactly because for my consciousness, what happened years ago or what happened millions years ago, it just overlaps. So it could be that some I can actually, when I see like I give readings to people, I can tell you like, okay, this happened like 200 or 300 years ago because I see through the clothes and what people wear that time. But when it goes about millions of years or beginning of our civilization, it's hard to pinpoint to exactly moment, exactly date, how it happened. So I saw this look like a human being to me, standing on the moon. And what he did, he used a high level of mathematics to lower the vibration of the moon. Now, how and as you can, there was a lot of movies about what is moon, and some of it says that it's not a planet, it's just a satellite, but it was artificial satellites, and no one knows what's the other side of the moon, how it was created, and so on. But what I could see, there was this being, looked like a man, who worked on the top of the moon and lowering the frequency, the sound frequency, so it can cut us from the wisdom of the universe. And how it cut us, it actually it affects on us, and it lowers our vibration using sound. And by cutting us from the universe, we are not able to receive the full information from the universe, so we cannot process many information. So and his purpose also, he knew that it's actually very, he has a like a short gap of time that will work at some point in human existence they will actually start asking a lot of questions, and I was like, oh, what's going on, and we want to go to a highest frequency. But he knew that it's only temporary. But what he did also, but lowering frequency, but the second thing that he did, he knew that he wanted to create something that for humanity that will not focus on sun as the source of light and in that and information, but we focus on the moon and as something that shifts our water, that shifts our emotions, and just know that moon is the kind of a female energy as well. But sun is it's a energy of masculine, and it's energy of being, and it's energy that expands our consciousness basically. So this is the sun. So in the moment of the eclipses, doesn't matter if it's a lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, that two celestial beings are coming together and aligned in one line. And what happens in a short time, now this is like a 10-15 minutes gap. Many civilizations believe that it's a sacred moment where people believe, especially in medieval times, but where people feared this moment because they believe that it's the end of the time. But if ancient Egyptian believe that it's a healing moment for the body and soul. But in that moment, some cultures believe that it's like it's the moment where, and I could see as well that it's a moment where of a divine spark, it's the divine particle is being lowered. That's why church, for example, created this notion of fear, that you should fear eclipses. That's the end of the world. But in that moment, there is of when the moon aligns with the sun, there's this moment of there's no time, there is no space, there's just something beyond this. And then a second later comes creativity, comes life, comes this a movement of existence. Um, Secondly, the next information that I got, that whatever happens on moon, if it affects the history and affects the universe, if there's as I believe everything is connected, and if we don't overcome one thing in our, for example, life, that thing will, people will show us or event will show us. But the same on a higher, when you look at the higher picture, when you have the moon, then if that cannot be maybe in peace, it means that the whole universe cannot receive peace. I'll give you just an example. So millions years ago, millions. So I cannot pinpoint when exactly, but many millions years ago, when many civilizations came to Earth to create different, to exchange of minerals, of, for example, gold and silver. They came to Earth and to bring life, for example, to teach different cultures, mathematics and law and something like that. During that time, they had to surpass the moon. So moon was this point of the point of like a border. So there was a checker border, and that was the moon, and that's why it plays an enormous, at that time, enormous role. But during the time, there was a lot of colonization of Earth. So what the other beings wanted, the aliens, how they call it, they want to create. There's kind of a strategy points which can reflect, for example, in South America, when a lot of temples were built for the sun, to worship the sun and to worship the moon, and many different cultures as well. So as below, as above, so below. So that's my reading for the eclipse. Hope it resonates with you. And if you find, because I'm seeing a lot of things, but if you find any information that was similar, or if you have, if you find something that can confirm what I'm saying, please do send it, put it in a comment. Now, just below the video, you see a link to Amazon, because I wrote 3 books, channel information about essential trees and flowers. They're all available on Amazon, so the link is below. Now, I'd like to thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful weekend and all the best. Bye.